Hi everyone, this is Gerf and the Duchess again, and I'm here to share a little bit more about my book, My Spiritual Journey, A Symbiotic Relationship with My Ancestors. Over the next couple weeks, I'll be periodically posting videos, sharing more about my encounters and my experiences while we wait for the editing process to be completed. It's very tedious, and I know we're all excited. I am excited to share, but I've got to wait for the process to take its course. In the meantime, today I'd like to share a little bit, an excerpt actually from my book, My Spiritual Journey. And this has to do with an encounter that I had in the realm. Here goes. My first or second night back home from Honduras, I had a dream being under a house in the realm. This was a wooden upstairs house. It was raised high enough with a clearance underneath, and that's where I saw myself, standing looking in a northerly direction. A picado road or makeshift path was visible ahead. This was another village setting, but the surroundings were lush and green with thick vegetation. There was not much more I remembered from my first dream. About a week later, in a vision, I found myself back in the same place and spot, looking in the northerly direction under the wooden house, but this time I ventured out, walking along the Picado Road. As I walked 700 yards, I noticed the top of a thatch roof to my left, and smoke was rising from it. I am not sure why, but I decided to stop in. Going in the yard, there was a house similar to the one I found myself under when I started out, but this one, the clearance was minimal off the ground. The path to the yard was along the left side of the house. Clearing the house, I could see that the thatch roof was a kitchen. Its right side faced the stairs of the house, and the doorway faced northerly. There was a bench along the same right side of the kitchen. Seated there was a man and a woman. He wore a white ribbed tank top and fisherman pants with a tobacco pipe in his mouth, and she wore a lilac traditional Garifuna gown. To their left was another bench. 3 people were seated there. The benches were in an L-shaped formation. The man greeted me warmly with a big smile and signaled, "Hagabu ibariwa wagardahen buba. Come, my grandchild, we have been expecting you." He wasted no time introducing himself. He told me his name was Alfredo Bernardes. Wabano Fredo, Anoha Nani Esposa Matilda, Wabatun Tilda. Call me Fredo. This is my wife Matilda. Call her Tilda. He sat with his legs crossed, and at the foot of the bench was a flask. He told me, "Gurabanum, drink with me." In a small reader, he offered me a little content of the flask. The liquid was dark brown, and I drank it. I was pleasantly surprised. It didn't taste bitter, but rather earthy, like an herbal drink. He repeated the same thing. Then he took a drink before offering me a final drink. Politely, he asked his wife to get some food. She retreated into the kitchen, at which point he offered me a seat next to him. My focus now shifted on the 3 people on the other bench. The person in my immediate frame was the lady in the middle. I was looking intently at her. Something about her looked familiar. She was an elder as well and was looking down on the ground playing coy. Then she sneakingly looked up at me, smiled, and put her head back down. That's it. This was the face that I had seen hovering over me while I slept in Honduras. Nagatilda returned with food in a dinner-sized Rita. After eating, Nargut stood up, placed his hands over my head, and started to chant incantations. When he was finished, he told me how happy they were that we had finally met. This is an excerpt from my new book, My Spiritual Journey, A Symbiotic Relationship with My Ancestors. It's in my own words, and I can't wait to share. I thank you for just bearing with me with this process. But in the meantime, I promise you, I will keep in touch. I will keep sharing my experiences and my encounters to keep you, the readers, engaged. And I believe this will be worth the read for you. So I thank you today. Whatever you do, go out and make it a nice and productive day. Thank you very much.